You ever look back and realize the wildest chapter of your life started with something as simple as a moving box? That's how it was for me, standing there in the sticky morning heat, loading the last of my things into my old pickup, feeling the weight of 3 years in Cypress Gardens pressing down on me. And I'll be honest, feeling just a little smug that I was finally getting out. I'd survived longer than most sane people would, hell longer than most would have believed possible given the way this HOA operated. But what really set the tone for that last day was Louise Piton Blonde, perennially angry, an HOA secretary with a sense of mission that could scare a drill sergeant. I was tightening down a bungee cord, thinking about how in a couple hours I'd never hear that woman's voice again, when she came marching across the sidewalk, iPhone out, and ready yelling, excuse me," like she was calling the cops on a parade. If I had $1 for every time she'd tried to cite me for some imaginary violation, I wouldn't have needed my job with the Bureau. "You can't just pile up junk like that, Jerome," she barked, using my name like it was an insult. "You're bringing down the neighborhood," I told her as politely as I could. "Just moving out." Louise, nothing more to it, but she'd never let it go at that. "You need a permit. All those boxes, your eyesore of a truck. This is a respectable place." Louise had made harassment her hobby. 2 long grass-wrong color mailbox, my car parked. Get this, 6 inches too far from the curb. My favorite was the time she threatened to measure my grill smoke with an air quality meter. And as I'm standing there trying not to laugh, she announces she's calling the cops, jabbing at her phone like she's launching nukes. "Yes, hello, I need police assistance," she says, glancing at me like I'm a rabid dog. "There's a suspicious man with a truck full of things being aggressive." I nearly lost it. She stepped back, waiting for me to explode, but I just started loading again, let her run out of steam. And just when I thought maybe I could power through the rest of the morning, she circles back to her favorite subject, my so-called ethnic cooking. "Whatever food you people make," she muttered, complaining about the smell wafting into her yard and making her cat sick. You know what I mean? That moment you hear someone say something so ugly, you have to bite your tongue to keep from spitting back. "Ethnic food?" I asked, staring her down. "You mean when I grilled chicken last Sunday?" "Don't get smart with me, Jerome. You know exactly what I mean." She was practically vibrating with indignation, her face going purple. The things she'd accused me of: loud friends, suspicious gatherings, which turned out to be me and my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, sharing a burger, even claiming my presence was ruining property values. And then she said it flat out with that venom in her voice, "I won't let you turn this place into a ghetto." There it was. She'd been careful, always hiding behind standards, but right then she let the mask slip. And just like that, you could feel the temperature change, like a summer storm about to break. Sirens in the distance. She smiled like she'd won something. The cruiser pulled up and out stepped Rick Sullivan, a detective I'd worked with before, and Officer Maria Santos, sharp as a tack, and not one to fall for theatrics. Louise launched into her act, telling them I was aggressive, threatening had stolen goods in my truck. Sullivan caught my eye, gave the tiniest shake of his head. "Here we go again. Ma'am, can you tell us exactly what happened?" he asked, and she was off to the races, painting herself as the victim, me as some sort of master criminal. Santos took notes, but you could tell she wasn't buying it. "Sir, can you tell us your side?" Sullivan asked, but Louise just wouldn't let it go. "He's probably going to make up some story. His type always thinks the rules don't apply." Her words hung in the air, heavy, toxic. Santos and Sullivan exchanged a look that said everything. Time to end this circus. I reached into my jacket, slow, careful, just like we're trained, and pulled out my badge. Jerome Mitchell, Special Agent, FBI. The world went quiet. Sullivan examined my creds, trying not to grin. Louise just stood there, jaw dropped, face pale, saying, "That's not possible, he's lying. It must be a fake badge." I could see her brain short-circuiting, unable to process that the guy she'd tried to run out of the neighborhood wasn't just anybody. He was federal law enforcement. Santos was all business. "Ma'am, are you suggesting he's impersonating a federal officer?" "Yes, exactly. He's just trying to intimidate me," she shrieked, digging her hole deeper. Sullivan finally said, "Ma'am, Agent Mitchell's credentials are legitimate. I've worked with him before." Louise looked around, desperate, whispering, "But that can't be right." She'd spent 3 years making my life hell, 47 complaints more than every other neighbor combined. And here she was unraveling in front of the whole street. I never made racist comments, she protested, but Santos was ready. Didn't you just say ghetto and his type and these people? That's when her phone started blowing up, the HOA group chat, neighbors gossiping, rumors flying. Louise turned ghostly pale. What am I supposed to tell them? She whispered. You could try the truth, Santos said. Not getting caught being racist, I added, watching it sink in. Another police car pulled up. Sergeant Thompson, the type who's seen every flavor of neighbor drama, got. The rundown looked at Louise and said, Let me get this straight. 3 years of harassment. Then you call the cops on a federal agent, and now you want to take it all back. By now, people were gathering phones out, recording everything. My neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, texted, Don't worry, Jerome, we're on your side. Someone had posted the confrontation online. It was already blowing up. In minutes, the whole neighborhood knew the truth, and the wider world wasn't far behind. Louise tried to apologize, begged me to make it all go away. I looked at Sullivan and Thompson, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel powerless. I want to file a formal complaint, I said. 3 years of harassment, false reports, and today's accusation. Louise's knees buckled. This time, nobody caught her. Later, as I sat in the police station giving my statement, news trucks pulled up outside. The videos had gone viral. Louise screaming the badge reveal her meltdown. The story was everywhere. HOA, drama, racial profiling, FBI agent. The comments online were brutal but cathartic. People started coming forward with their own stories. Turns out there were a lot of folks like Louise hiding behind HOAs to harass their neighbors. Louise was charged local and federal, the whole 9 yards. The HOA forced her to resign, and overnight she went from queen bee to pariah. Even the neighbors who'd stayed quiet before were speaking out now. The whole community changed. Sandra Mitchell became HOA president. New policies went. And people started talking to each other instead of about each other. A couple months later, I got a text from Louise. She was in counseling, doing community service, apologizing. Maybe she was changing. I didn't know if I could forgive, but I could let go. That chapter ended with me sitting on my new porch in Riverside Heights, waving to neighbors of every color, sharing cobbler with Mrs. Henderson, and knowing that for once I was home. The wild part. My story became the start of something bigger. The Mitchell Protocol. A national conversation about HOA bias, a little bit of justice rippling out across the country. Maybe karma isn't just about payback. Sometimes it's about making room for people to do better. But tell me this, if you were in my shoes, would you have let Louise off the hook or seen it through all the way? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this kind of story, we all have a part in how it ends.